Hello everyone. In today's arc profile I'll be doing is one of Arc's largest sauropods, beating the Bronto and the Titanosaur. And this one is say hello to Brachiosaurus, towering over other creatures of the island and aberration. Brachiosaurus is a sight to behold, being mostly docile herbivore. Brachiosaurus can become very defensive when threatened. With a thick, scaly hide and its massive size, few creatures can defeat this behemoth. Brachiosaurs have been observed to briefly take a bipedal stance, rising up on its hind legs, and act in a defense. From there, they use all of their body weight to unleash a claustrophobic stomp with their attack onto their attacker. In the unlikely possibility that the Brachiosaurus is a mortal danger, they will let out a magnificent bellow, which seems to frighten even the most powerful predators. Fortunately, this bipedal state is also the Brachiosaurus' weakness. Provoking a dino into this stance allows survivors to take its hind legs, which are supporting all of the beast's bulk. With enough damage, the Brachiosaurus will collapse into an unconscious state, allowing for taming when tamed. The Brachiosaurus seems to be proficiently in gathering all resources, whether it's stone, metal, wood, or fiber, or berries. Can gather it all quite effectively. This coupled with its extraordinary carry capacity, making them powerful tames for resources gathering and mobile storage. Brachiosaurus towers over most sauropods, even standing taller than a titanosaur. They can be found roaming the island, the center, Ragnarok, Aberration, Vulgario, Genesis 1, and Crystal Isles. Most times it is docile, though if provoked, it will quickly become a defense. In combat, the Brachiosaurus is a dangerous creature to fight, as it can deal large amount of damage and has a lot of health, coupled with a slight damage reduction from most attacks. However, utilizing the right strategy, a survivor can quickly defeat the Brachiosaurus. Aerial creatures can be used to fly above the Brachiosaurus' front shoulder, hind quarters, or head to attack it, though the latter has less reliable hitbox. This prevents the Brachiosaurus from being able to use its attacks against survivors. However, it can still do damage using its devastating stomp and fend off the survivors' creatures using its bellow. More on that later. The survivor should avoid using any slow terrestrial creature when fighting the Brachiosaurus, as they risk a possibility of Brachiosaurus being able to hit a creature with its stomp. And creatures with high melee damage or aerial creatures are recommended for fighting this animal. In addition, an Acrocathosaurus with significantly leveled health and melee damage can prove quite effective in exploiting the stomp attack. 2. Go into adrenaline mode to deal extra damage, although fighting a Brachiosaurus on foot is risky. The survivor won't be effective by a bellow on foot. The Brachiosaurus can be combated by aiming for its flank with a pump-action shotgun or assault rifle. And for danger, fighting a Brachiosaurus with a rider can prove dangerous and sometimes deadly, as the rider has control over the taming of the stomp and bellow. The Brachiosaurus has the ability to damage all structures: metal, wood, stone, and thatch, making it a huge threat to survivors' base. Furthermore, the Brachiosaurus' bellow can cause almost any creature to flee, potentially putting the survivor in danger of a counterattack or environmental hazard. But they're not invincible. They have weaknesses. The Brachiosaurus' basic attack do relatively little melee damage, and the stomp is not used as frequently by wild or riderless Brachiosaurus. Exploiting the ground-oriented hitbox of the Brachiosaurus' basic attacks with flying mount, especially on wild or riderless Brachiosaurus, proves especially effective. Its ability to take a bipedal stance and unleash its stomp can take a while to occur and can prove to quickly drain the Brachiosaurus' stamina, allowing time for the survivor to escape, as well as leaving it vulnerable to taking considerably amount of torpor, potentially knocking it unconscious. If a survivor can shoot at its back legs and deal enough damage before it reaches them, the Brachiosaurus is also a large target, making it easier for long-distance range attacks to hit it. The bleed effect also proves effective for clipping away at its large health pool. And unlike most knockout tames, the Brachiosaurus cannot be knocked out through traditional strategy. Instead, the survivor must attack the front of the Brachiosaurus' hind legs when it takes a bipedal stance. If it receives enough damage, it will fall into a conscious state, allowing taming. And they're good harvesters. They can harvest all resources, like 50% of weight reduction on wood, stone, metal. With a decent melee damage and speed as well as high weight, will prove invaluable for gathering resources. Siege weapons. They are able to damage all structures, making it invaluable for destroying enemy bases. And intimidation. The bellow ability is much like a stronger version of the Uteras's feared roar. They can scare and fear any creature. And they can even scare Giganosaurus. This ability can be used to fend off enemies and make them more susceptible to damage. And they are fertilizer producers. Tame assist. And like I said before, the bellow. It's it's like a stronger Utaras fear roar. They can frighten any creature, even a Giganosaurus, and some alpha creatures. But there are others that completely ignore this bellow, like the ammonite, anglerfish, Brachiosaurus, titanosaur, and many more. And that's it for this video. Like and subscribe, and see you later, guys.